Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda and this is Birch and Lily, where I talk about all sorts of fun, nitty, crafty things. Today, I'm going to be sitting down with you for another regular podcast episode. I have lots of progress to show you and I'm really excited to jump on in. Before we jump on in though, there are a few little admin things that I wanted to talk about quickly. I promise I won't take too much of your time. First off, you can find me on birchandlilyfiber.com and on Instagram at birch.and.lily. I also created a Ko-Fi. I've had a couple people asking me if there's somewhere they could just support me a little bit for what I do on YouTube. Obviously, there's no pressure at all, ever. But if you are interested, that link is down below in the description as well, along with everything that I talk about today. I also wanted to remind you that the Florencia Cal is going on right now. It is a knit along for a really cute tee. It goes until, I believe, August 31st, so all the information will be linked down below for that knit along as well. On the topic of Florencia, I'll just say, I don't think mine's gonna happen. I have too much going on, and after that one cast on debacle last episode where I had torn it out, I haven't cast it back on. So I hope you're knitting your Florencias and having lots of fun. I've seen some really beautiful ones on Instagram. And yeah, all that information is down in the description as well. One other thing, because I'm really bad at talking about stuff in my shop, I did want to tell you that I did update the shop with a whole bunch of fun new stitch stoppers. So I just wanted to show you a few quick off the bat, and then we'll jump right into the podcast. So these ones are in there. If you haven't used stitch stoppers before, they have saved my life. The amount of times my corgi has got her little paws tangled in my yarn and accidentally pulls my needles out is ridiculous. So these just easily pop onto the end of your needle and stop the stitches from falling off. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that quick. There's tons of them in the shop, whole bunch of other ones other than those, but I don't want to be too advertising, so we're going to move on from that. Let's get into the regular knitting content. I know that's what you're here for. I'm wearing a finished object, so we might as well start with the finished object. This is my Gaufrette Raglan. It's a pattern from Celine Feyten, and I thought it was due test knitting wise on the 25th of August, but apparently it got extended and I didn't know. So mine's done early, which is great. It's good for me. But with that being said, I think the pattern is going to be coming out sometime in mid-September. So this is mine. I knit the size 4, and then the pattern comes with what Celine calls 2 different views. So you can either knit just like a straight up plain stockinette raglan, or you can knit what I knit, which is view B. So maybe let's talk about it a little bit quick, and then I can kind of show you some details of it. I knit this holding Birch sock and Birch Surrey double. So Birch sock is a 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and the Surrey, I can never remember this off the top of my head. I believe it's, one day I'll remember my own Surrey base. 74% baby Surrey alpaca, 26% silk. For some reason my brain always wants to say 76% baby Surrey, but it's not. It's 74. Gosh, it already went out of my head. 74% baby Surrey alpaca, 26% silk. So I held those double, and the gauge for this is, I think, 24 stitches for 4 inches. So a smaller gauge, but I definitely was able to do that with the fingering weight and the Surrey held double just fine. So that's good. I also hear my husband going back in the yard on our garden tractor. So if you hear a little garden tractor noise in the background, I apologize. We are still cleaning up from that storm. We've been going hard on it for a little bit and then taking a break because we get tired of it, and then doing more and then taking a break. You might hear him going around in the yard on the garden tractor, moving massive trees, but hopefully it's not too loud. Where were we? I knit basically everything to pattern on this. The only things I changed, I cropped it. I knit it quite a bit shorter than the called for length. I think my garment came out to be about 10 inches. We can measure it once I stand up. I'll grab a measuring tape and we can measure how long it is, but I think it came out to be about 10 inches in the body. And then I did end up shortening the sleeves a little bit as well, because apparently my arms are short. I thought they weren't, but I don't know. The sleeves in the pattern were going to end up being much too long for me, so I did shorten them up a little bit. Not a ton, I don't think, but a little bit. Let me stand up and I'll show you. First of all, I don't know how, but I forgot I owned this pair of jeans, and I really like them. And I got them for like a couple dollars at a rummage sale. So I'm glad I found them, because I think they look really cute with this sweater. Anyways, here is my raglan. So, like I said, I cropped the body quite a bit. It's hitting just about at the top of my jeans, and like my belly button is right at the top of my jeans, so that kind of gives you an idea. And then the sleeves are like a nice wrist length, maybe a little bit longer. I could technically pull them down a little bit if I wanted to, but I like them sitting about here. I tend to be the type of person who will just want to shove the sleeves up anyways, and on a hand knit garment I find if I do that too much, it stretches them out. So I like to have them kind of just sitting here. It's longer than bracelet length. I'm not sure what you would call that, but that is where it hits. And yeah, I guess I'll stay close so you can see the texture here on the sleeves. So that is all just on the raglan and the sleeves. You can see the raglan seam right here. And then there's this really neat V detail in the front with that same texture. And yeah, I think it's really cute. Can you imagine this over like a A-line dress or something too? I think that would be really sweet for the fall. Yeah, I'm very happy with how it turned out. And I'm happy I cropped it. I don't think I would like it as much in the longer length, and that's just a me thing. I think it would look great on many people in the regular, like, called for length, but I like the cropped length. So let's see. Oh, okay, no, underarm, Amanda, what are you doing? So yeah, it's about 10 and a half inches. I think that's a really good cropped length for me. It's not so short that I'm pulling it down a lot, but cropped enough that I can get away with it with a high, well, I can wear anything with a high-waisted pair of jeans, but if I want a crop top, a higher-waisted pair of jeans will work great with it, or it'll look cute over a dress, not too bulky over a dress. So I think I chose the correct length, and I think this might almost be my preferred crop length, and I should really make a note about this in my pattern notebook or my knitting notebook. Actually, I did bring it up here because I want to measure this and write stuff down in my notebook when I'm done. I just have a notebook that I write down now, like every single project. Sometimes I write really intense notes. That's a great example. Sometimes I don't. But I just put like a little scrap of the yarn in there, write my gauge, my measurements, when I started, when I finished, all that sort of stuff, so that I have record of it. Because there are some garments that I love the fit of, and knit garments sometimes will stretch out a little bit over time. So if I'm able to write down all that information and like what I loved about it, what I didn't love about it, then I can go back to that later on for reference. So yeah, I'm behind on my notes. I haven't finished it for anything I've finished since my marigold. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that's not done. 3, 5, 6. Oh gosh. But yeah, I do try my best to keep notes. The nice thing right now about it being summer is I'm knitting fall things, but I'm not wearing them yet, so nothing about them has changed, and my notes can be accurate. But maybe I should try to catch up on this afternoon. I'm going to put it on my desk, so hopefully I don't forget. Anyways, yeah, Gaufrette Raglan. I think it's wonderful. I have, what are the final measurements bust-wise for this? Can do a general guess. Since I don't have it laying out, it's hard to know exactly, but yeah, it's about 22, so that would be 42 inches in circumference, and my bust is about, well, that feels much larger than that. Actually, let me check. I know I blocked this to measurements. One sec. Don't trust my awkward measuring. This pattern became such a mess. I like printing out test knit patterns so I can make notes, but goodness, this became such a disaster. I don't know how it got it's so beat up, and now I can't find my bust measurements. Ah, here we go. Okay, so yeah, 48.75. See, my measuring sucked. Yeah, so it's 48.75, so I have about 8 to 9 inches of positive ease in the bust, and I really like that. So yeah, I'm very pleased with how this turned out. I'm very warm right now, but I don't have a shirt under here, so we're gonna keep it on and just sweat and deal with it. Yeah, I'm very happy with this. This yarn, I've been saying this for months, but I'm putting in an order for more berry yarn in the next week or so, and then I'm going to be able to start working on this collection. So this is going to be in the shop eventually. I'm going to give myself a month just to be safe, but I feel like this whole collection is pretty much fall inspired anyways, so I think the timing is fine. But this should be in the shop soon-ish, so I will definitely keep you updated, and I'll start releasing inspiration stuff soon on Instagram. But yeah, this is going to be in the shop at some point. Anyways, Gaufrette Raglan, I'm very happy with this. I will keep you posted when the pattern goes live, but so far I think it's beautiful. I'm really happy with the modifications I made, and I think the fit is great. So I'm very happy. I've said that already. Everyone is very, very nice in the comments. Do not get me wrong, but I've had the odd person before make fun of me for repeating things. But if I'm happy about something, I'm just gonna keep saying it. So if you don't like that, sorry, but I like it and I'm happy and I think it's pretty and I like pretty things, and that is that. Anyways, this is the only finished object I have, but I have some major progress on some other things. So let's start with my Leith cardigan. Last episode, I barely had anything done on this. Birch Grove bag. This time around, I have tons. I have been working like a mad woman on this. And then I blocked it. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see this on the camera, but I know better, and I know that pinky reds, especially saturated ones, tend to bleed, and especially will bleed onto light colors. And I blocked this without a color catcher, and yeah, you can kind of tell it bled. So if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen my post contemplating over-dyeing this because it feels too Christmassy to me. Some people say yes, some people say no. I think it feels too Christmassy. And while I wouldn't mind a Christmas sweater, I want this to be something that I can wear more than just Christmas. So once it bled, that kind of solidified my decision. And once this is fully knit up, I'm going to over dye it with a light wash of like a tan sort of color. So that will mute down the pink and the green, and it will also obviously turn the white a tan. I'm going to pop a photo on the screen. This is from Marlene Knits. She'll be linked down below, but she knits, I think it's called the Stripe Hype sweater, and when I saw it kind of gave me inspiration for what I want this to look like when I over dye it. So that is kind of what I'm leaning towards. And it shouldn't be too hard. especially because I'm just putting like a neutral over top of everything, so it's not going to risk like reacting weird with either of these colors and turning them funny. It's just going to turn the white tan and mute these down some, and I'm going to be happy with that. But anyways, other than the bleeding and the color indecision, I've been getting a lot done on this, and I'm really, really happy, and I think I might even have to slide back a bit to show it because it's quite large. So this is the Leith cardigan, and it's going to be coming soon from Clow. And it is the coolest pattern that uses intarsia so that you have this stripe down the back. So last time, I think I was only like a row or two in, so I've got a lot done. The whole body's done, and I'm working on the button band now. And this is the first time I have knit a button band separate from a cardigan and then seamed it on after. I have done some seaming in this past year, and I didn't find it to be too terribly bad. I seamed the pocket on my color tip tee, and then my marigold tee, I seamed like the whole body together, so I'm not concerned about the seaming at all, but it will take a bit of time, obviously. So I'll show you that in a sec. But once I have that done and attached, then I will over dye all of this as one. What do I have to say? The sleeves, I did knit 2 pattern. They are a little long, but I did find when I blocked my boucle swatch that it really didn't grow in length a lot. So I'm just going to be extra careful when I block this again and when I'm over dyeing it that I don't pick it up and let it like hang out of the water like this, that I grab it in a nice big huge ball so that there's no more chance or no other chances of it stretching out. But I didn't really find it grew in length or in width really that much at all when I blocked it. I think it just has to do with the fact that, like how it's constructed. And so it's really easy to catch those like fluffy bits. And I think in doing that, it just kind of holds the stitches together more. That's the best way I can think of to describe it. But yeah, I really didn't find much growth at all. I have so many ends to weave in and the button band to attach. I think it's obviously really hard to see the stitches in boucle, so I think when I seam the button band onto the body, instead of using the boucle yarn, I'm going to use like a fingering weight undyed like white color, because then that'll dye to the same tan color that I'm going to wash everything with, but just a fingering weight, normal like 80-20 to seam on the button band, just so I can see what I'm doing better. Also because this boucle has a tendency to kind of pull apart. It's a really delicate yarn in that way, so I think that'll just make my life a little bit easier. But yeah, I love this so far. I think it's beautiful otherwise. The fit, I would put it on because I guess I could put it on over top of this. I'm gonna look absolutely ridiculous, so this looks crazy, but it gives you an idea of the fit. So yeah, the sleeves are long, but I could, I think I might just leave them because it's cozy and like they're easy to shove up. If I block it and they're like ridiculous, I'll take them out. It's not too hard to reknit a couple cuffs, but yeah, there's the back. It's kind of riding up a little bit. I think, yeah, it's supposed to sit more like that. That is on me, which, yeah, so there is that. I do think the sleeves are a little long. The fun things we all noticed on the podcast together that you get to learn with me. But I'm just going to leave them for now until I over dye it, because I won't need any more white to reknit it, so if I have to rip that out and reuse it, that's fine. But that is where we are. Let me show you the button band. Before I do that, I have such a collection of needles in this bag that need to be put away. So I'm going to set those again on my desk so I remember to do that. These are from like a whole bunch of different projects that I piled everywhere. Don't worry, I did not use all of these for the Leith. So I've started working on my button band, and I have all my buttonholes done. So now I'm just knitting away on this button band. It is a double knit button band, which, wow, with the boucle is so soft. So I think I'm gonna knit this a little bit longer past the buttonholes, and then I might actually start seaming it on, just so it's a little bit easier for me to figure out the length that I need to knit this to. But yeah, it's really not that bad. It moves really quickly because there's only, I think, 14 stitches on my needles for this band. So it's not bad at all. But yeah, that is my Leith, which I think is gonna need shortened sleeves, and that is fine. Not my squeaky chair, I'm sorry. Not a problem at all. I'll just take this out and then rip back maybe an inch or two, and then reattach or re-knit the cuffs. That's fine. But I love it otherwise, and I'm excited to see how the dyeing process goes for it. I think I'm going to have to purchase a pot because I don't think it's gonna work to get an even dye on that in a normal like steam pan that I use, steam tray. So I'm gonna have to purchase a pot, but it'll be good. It'll be fun. The other project that I have a lot of work on is my warp and weft. I'm going to show this to you, and then we're going to attempt to flip it inside out together, because this whole sweater, I'll show you the yarn first. I love this yarn. These are part of the new collection as well, but this whole sweater is knit inside out. Which makes it hard to show, obviously, because I'm knitting it inside out. But this is where we are. I'm just gonna have to keep sliding back today because everything's so big. So I have knit quite a bit on the body. Once I ran out of yarn, my 2 cakes for the body, I just put the body on hold and started working on a sleeve. So I am about halfway through this sleeve, and I'm feeling like I'm gonna have an issue with length again. I don't know what is going on with me and sleeve lengths lately, but if that is the case, I should try this on actually this afternoon and see how we're getting with sleeve length, and then go from there, because I still have 6 decreases left on this, and that might be a really long sleeve. So I'm gonna try that on. It's funny because for a while I thought, or no, I take that back. I've always felt my arms are shorter than what patterns say to knit for sleeves. Sometimes I've been able to get away with the length they say to go to, like, I think average patterns are about 17 to 18 inches, and sometimes it's been fine. I think it has to do with the depth of the raglan or the yoke. I better try this on and see how that is fitting. But let us try to flip this inside out, because this is not the right side of the sweater. So the only thing I'm terribly worried about is flipping this. Oh, that won't be bad. Okay, I take that back. I'm just gonna leave the needles tucked in there, I think, so I know how I flipped this before. But here is the actual right side. Look how beautiful. So you knit it inside out so that you don't have to worry about carrying these little floats in the front of your work, because that's a disaster. Trust me, it's not the easiest. There's a little bit of knitting flat in this at the beginning to shape the neckline, and it was not fun. I don't ever want to do that again. But doing it inside out works just fine, and I cannot get over the texture. It feels incredible. This is going to be so warm because it's double thick with all of these floats, but it's just beautiful. So this is the size 4. I don't think I said that. And did I even say who the pattern is by? I don't know. This is my warp and weft. It's a pattern I'm testing for Jessie Maed designs. So this really cool panel runs under the sleeve too. I didn't even realize that until I started knitting it. But I just love the definition that adds with that dark blue. This one I think I'm going to actually crop to about the same length as this Gaufrette Raglan. The pattern does call to be cropped, but a little bit more cropped than I'm comfortable with, so I think doing it to about that 10-inch length will be perfect. Yeah, oh my gosh. It's so pretty. I am, for the first time ever, I started trying to alternate skeins on this, and it's a disaster with this type of stitch pattern, so I've given up on it. And I don't think you can tell. Like this whole sleeve I have done in one skein of yarn, and it looks no different than the body to me. So I'm pleased with that choice because it was not fun to alternate skeins on here for the little bit that I did. I hid it inside one of these raglans. I think it might be this one. Oh no. Why does that one look so... Oh, no, it is. I was going to say, why does that one look a little bit messier if it's not the one that I alternated in? It is. But I do think that will block out, and it should be just fine. And it's on the back of the sweater. I did that on purpose, just in case it did look funky. So, yeah, there is that. I think that's about all I have to say. I'm going to flip this back inside out so I can keep knitting on it later. I should definitely be able to have this done by the due date of August 30th. That is also the due date for the Leith, and I'm not worried about that either. I'm showing it inside out again, but even this pattern is beautiful. I think if it weren't for this, like, well, even the seam here looks cool. I don't know. It's kind of neat both ways, but I love it. It's beautiful. The size 4 I think is going to be perfect. Like I said, I need to try it on and just test out that sleeve length since I've been having sleeve length issues lately. And then the final project that I did want to show you, I haven't done a ton on, just because I'm working hard on those other 2 projects. I'm trying to get them done on time. But this is my Reste pullover. This is my new favorite backpack from Songbird Handmade. There's the tag. And I won't go too much into detail on this because I really haven't done much. This is a beautiful pullover coming very soon from Lizzie Hester, sometime in October, I think. My due date is mid-September, but I've only knit about 1 inch on this in this color. This again is same as this Gaufrette, the Birch sock and Birch Surrey held double. Has these really beautiful thick raglans on it. And then eventually it's going to have stripes in a whole bunch of pretty Surreys, which, let's see if I can grab all of them. Like I said, I'm not going to go too much into detail because I really haven't done that much. But here's a couple of them. I think there's 2 more in here. Yeah. Really pretty purples and blues I'm going to stripe. So once I finish my warp and weft and my Leith, which should be totally doable within the next couple days, then I will work hard on that and get that finished. And then I am back on track, which is really exciting. I have some tests I'm planning on very soon that I'm excited about, and we should be able to talk about all of them next episode, because these should all be done, which is great. I'm very, very pleased with myself. So let's see. Oh, the one other update I wanted to give. You all were so helpful and gave me so many pattern recommendations for my Fia yarn from Explore Knits and Fibers. I wanted to knit a cardigan. And while I loved all of your ideas, then within the past 2 weeks, the Eva cardigan came live from Petite Knit, and I knew that that was what this was meant to be. And I have plenty of yarn for it, which is even better. So this is one day going to turn into the Eva cardigan by Petite Knit. So I just wanted to update you on that quickly. Otherwise, if you missed last week's episode, I had another fun one skein knitting pattern video. There's some really cool ones in there. I try very hard to not do socks. There are no socks in that video, in fact, only a pair of slippers. Everything else is knot socks, which is great. There are some really fun patterns in there if you haven't watched that yet. And then I've given up on planning ahead of time for next week's video, so if I get a burst at some point and I have an idea ahead of time, of course I'll let you know. But for now, I don't know what I'm doing next week. So we'll figure it out when an idea comes to me. They always tend to. So yeah. I think that's it. I need to remember to film B-roll this time. Last episode, I'm so sorry. I've been really good at putting B-roll in of like filming close-ups of what I'm working on, and I forgot last podcast episode, so I'm sorry about that. Otherwise, yeah, our life has been going great here. Still doing yard cleanup, of course, but we've had some very exciting. We had a couple really, really hard weeks with the storm and some other personal things that I don't want to talk about because they're personal. All of them have been resolved, which is amazing. So things are looking up for us. I'm really, really happy. I'm very proud of my husband, and I'm so excited for what's to come. So yeah, I try not to get too personal on here. I like to keep personal things personal, but I know there were some people who were pretty worried about me, especially after I posted some of those storm photos, because that was not fun. But I just wanted to let you know that everything's great, everything's looking up, we're doing wonderful, and I'm very happy and very thankful. That is all I have for you. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. It helps me and the channel out so much. It gets my videos out to other knitters and other want-to-be knitters. I don't know. It just gets it out there and it helps the channel out a lot. I've been so thankful for the growth that we've had in the past year, really. In the past 5 months. It's been amazing and I'm so thankful. And yeah, so if you haven't subscribed, do that. Come back here next Tuesday. I put up new videos every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And yeah, I'm gonna go edit this one because I'm filming day of release. So I gotta get on the ball. I will see you guys next time. Bye.